We're going to continue moving on, but real quickly before anybody leaves, I would be very remiss if we didn't announce some of the other elected officials here. Kevin Clancy, he is the treasurer for the Will County Democrats. Tom Tarani, mayor of the city of Joliet. Cal Landis, Wheatland Township Democratic Precinct Committeeman. Gene Williams, mayor of Linwood. McKinley Dillingham, trustee of Linwood. Julian Alexander, trustee of Richmond Park. Lou Presta, mayor of Crestwood. Dan Durga, trustee, Crestwood. Teresa Flynn, trustee of Crestwood. Cynthia Butler, trustee of Village of Richmond Park. Gardner Mayor, Mike Serena. Jackie Trinieri, Will County Board. Robert Jazowitz, trustee and candidate for Bolingbrook. Joe Carlasari, he is the president of the Young Democrats of Illinois. Joe, please stand up. There you are. Jim Worthington, City of Oak Forest. Patrick Kitchens, Elsik Mayor. James Sexton, Evergreen Park Mayor. And one of our Will County board members, and she's standing back there, Denise Winfrey. And last but not least, our carpenter from 434, Bob Howard, Will County board member from my District 1. Lori Gadboys, Kankakee County reporter. Thank you all for what you do in the trenches. We got one more thing. One more thing, guys, and then we'll be done. Jill, if you could please come forward and introduce Ken, please.
One of the things we've been doing with Southland Friends of Labor, United We Stand, is we're trying to network with all of our union brothers and sisters. So today we have Ken Brooks, our AFGE HUD Local 911 President. So please welcome Ken.
Good morning. I'd like to give a little context to this discussion we've been hearing this morning. Let me start by saying that I was driving in my car when I heard the candidate, Bruce Rauner, say, "I think all unions should be like federal unions." I go, oh my gosh, well I know why, because I'm in federal union. You know, we don't argue for wages or health benefits. And what did Congress, of course not our friends Robin Kelly or our good friends, what did they do? They froze federal wages for 3 years running. They made an increase 3 times in this current budget to our pension contributions. And if you total it all up, AFGE says that federal employees have paid $160 billion into deficit reduction. You're welcome. That's what they want from you. That's what he wants you to be, a union without more teeth. We see what happened in 1980, where this fight began. When the PADCO folks decided to strike and Reagan fired them all. That was the beginning that has led to this moment where we have all these Republican governors surrounding our states and now in our state who are after unions. Well, we need strong budgets, as was mentioned. We need budgets at the state level and at the federal level, because as the county officials and the city officials know, so much of HUD money, where I am, comes down through the community development block grants, comes down through public housing authority, comes down through home and goes into your pockets and creates those plumbing and those sprinkler and those carpenter jobs that you need so much. But since 1980, and this is the central issue of our day, since 1980, wages have been flat for the middle class or stagnant And corporate profits right now are the highest they've been since 1965. So we're clear what the battle is. Corporate profits versus the worker. And this is a fight, as many people said, to the death. My congresswoman at our AFGE convention, she started our breakfast meeting with this statement. They want to kill you. They want to kill you. And she was talking about people on the other side of the aisle and how they feel about unionization. We've got to stop this. The Pew Charitable Trust did a survey documenting what's happening to the middle class. Their survey doesn't go all the way back. It went back 15 years. But they found the same thing in the past 15 years. Income has been stagnant for the middle class. And who's getting the money? Who's getting the money? Since the Great Recession ended in 2009, the top 1% have gotten the money, not the middle class. And here's what surprised Pew in their research. It is across the board in all 50 states that middle class income is flat. A friend of mine works for the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities in Washington, D.C., and he does state research of all the states. And many of the states, as you know, are now dominated by Republican governors. And they all go in to cut taxes right away, which will cut the budgets that will provide the jobs. And he says in not one state has it proven that tax cuts have led to job growth. Not in one state. And this is what Governor Rauner now wants to bring to our great state of Illinois. He wants the right to work for less benefits zones. But there was a recent article in the Tribune by a University of Illinois economist, Robert Bruno, who looked at this. And he looked at the union membership in the Chicago area, the union membership. And he said that it didn't lead to any kind of unemployment. It's strong employment. But what was true was the county with the lowest level of union membership had the highest unemployment rate. And that would be Lake County, Illinois. Then you look further at what's happening at the great state of Indiana. They compare the counties on the border of Indiana. A lot of you are from that area. And here's the facts. Here's the facts as to what's happening. That in the counties in Indiana, bordering Illinois, the unemployment rate is 7.6% compared to 5.7% in Illinois. And then how about that? And then in 2014, Illinois, with our unions, created 104,000 jobs to Indiana's 89,000 jobs. So, Professor Bruno concluded that the loss of income, this is what it's about, who's getting the money, the loss of income from a reduction in union membership would exacerbate the gulf between the rich and not just the poor. They like to say, oh, they're just getting money to the poor. It's the rich and the middle class. That's what we have to keep focus on. So a recent New York Times editorial said is what we need is a full employment agenda that regards labor and not corporations as the center of the economy. Labor and not corporations. If we did that, it would reverse 35 years of a trend. And if the New York Times editorial isn't enough, let me quote now St. John Paul II on human work. Work is in the first place, is for the worker, not the worker for the work. Work is for the worker. Thank you, St. John Paul up there. So, in closing, we unions have a responsibility to our membership and to the 7 out of 10 Americans who Pew Research says are stressed by financial issues. We have a responsibility to them to make workers the priority over corporate profits, to educate our members and politicians of the important role of unionization in leveling the playing field in our economy, and to vote and get out the vote and support those who support the middle class, the heart and soul of this great country. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to invite everyone out. We're going to open up the overhead door. We're going to do a side-by-side burn, and then we'll do a side-by-side burn outside, so please don't get in your cars and leave.